The carnivore diet has become insanely popular, and I'm sure you know that as well. And the average American eats over 220 pounds of meat a year. Today, we're going to be interviewing Shane and Hannah, who own a butcher shop they started 5 years ago, and they've scaled it from $0 to multiple seven figures a year, and we're going to ask them everything about how they did what they did and how you can do it too. So make sure you stay to the very end of the video. All right, Hannah, so we're standing here right now in Rusty Nail Meats,
Yes.
Which is your shop. You have multiple shops.
Yes, two now.
Two now.
Yep.
And your initial investment was $200,000.
Yep, about 200 to 220.
And that was your own money. Like, you didn't get a loan or anything
Nope.
from anybody. It was
No
like your
loans.
hard-earned
Yep.
savings that you put in.
Yep.
You chose to invest that money as opposed to buying a house.
Yes, so my dad was like, hey, I know you guys are looking at buying a house. You have this money saved up. Why don't you invest that into a business instead? Like, you're gonna get way more out of it in the long run instead of buying in Southern California anyways.
Right.
So we moved out here and we literally put every dime that we had into this business. And then when we went to open the second location, we did take a loan out from my dad to do it. But this original one was all of our own money, no loan, anything
That is
like
so
that.
cool.
Yeah.
And how long ago did you open this location?
So this one opened January 10th of 2020. So like 3 months before COVID.
Dang.
Yep.
So for a little, going on 5 years, I guess.
Yep, 5
or
years
take.
last week, yeah.
5 years last
Yep.
week. Wow. Okay. Very, very cool. And you've grown a lot since then.
Oh yeah. Oh
Did
my
it
gosh.
look like this when you first built it out, or have you added a lot of stuff over time?
So, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty much the same. We've added like a couple freezers and stuff and just like exchange things that like as you go, you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't essentially. But for the most part, it's basically the same. We like to keep it really simple. We don't want customers coming in and overwhelmed with like too many options and then not. Basically what happens is then they just walk out with nothing. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, and we're always willing to, if a customer says like, hey, I'm looking for this, we're happy to bring it in or guide them to the like right direction of it.
Talk to me a little bit about what, the customer, the avatar of people that would come to, kind of a local mom and pop, like what you guys run, meat market, as opposed to going to a big box,
grocery store. So yeah, of course, like obviously Arizona has some pretty high-end grocery stores around us, but what we're seeing is a lot of them are getting rid of their typical butcher. So you're going into their shop and they have pre-cryovac meats, which we also do, but we get everything in primal cuts. So we could really customize for our customer. And the other thing is when you're going to a grocery store, they're sourcing from so many different farms that maybe the one time you go in, you're like, oh, that's a really good piece of meat. And then the next time you're like, oh, it's not really that good. Like you're not getting the consistency. For the most part, they carry choice and we carry prime. So all of our beef is prime. It's coming from one smaller farm out of Greater Omaha, Nebraska. We know what's going into the cows. We know how they're treated. We know what they're fed. We know every single thing about them, and we have a relationship with the owners of the company.
So talk to me a bit about like the decision in only carrying prime as opposed to having choice.
Greater Omaha focuses mostly on prime. So that is their type of cow, is a prime cow. It's a better grading of a cow, and we just wanted to carry something that's always high quality and always going to be consistent, and we didn't want to carry sometimes choice and sometimes prime. We just wanted everything to be consistent.
What is that grading scale?
No roll, choice, CAB, prime, Wagyus. But then when you get into Wagyus, you also select, but you have American Wagyu, A5 Wagyu. A Japanese A5 will come with a certificate for the most part, but you could also have Australian Wagyu and American Wagyu. So there's your Japanese A5, and then you have your American.
The marbling is like ridiculous.
Greater Omaha, where we get all of our beef from, they just started their own American Wagyu company, and they've only selected like a few butcher shops to put it into, and my uncle was one of the ones that got selected. So we've been able to carry it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But then you get into the wet age versus dry age too. So when it comes to beef, there's like a lot of different things, and we just wanted to be a specialty shop that like people could come to and find what they're wanting here. And if we don't have it, then we can source it for them.
What is the most popular thing that you sell on a monthly basis? Like if you
Filet.
Filet
is like our #1 seller. We go through it insane amount.
No way.
We've actually had one of like the owners or I don't know, a higher up exec of Mastro's come into our store and buy a filet. We're like, you get filet. It's like, what are you doing in here? And they're like, no, we love your fillets.
So tell me a little bit about the Japanese A5 Wagyu. Is this the most expensive cut of meat that you have in the shop?
This is like the most expensive thing we have in the store in general. It's $140 a pound. And this right here is about a little under a pound. So it's $123 just for this piece of steak right here. Yeah. It's insane.
So we were talking a little while ago, and you were
Yes.
telling me that December 23rd
Yes.
is actually like your best day ever.
Yep.
Like, tell me about that. And why the 23rd?
December 23rd is our only day of the year that we could ever beat basically our sales from the year prior. It's our busiest day of the year because it's right before Christmas.
Yep.
And you know, the 24th people have plans normally and stuff like that, but the 23rd is like the golden day. So we did 80,000 in sales, which was our best day ever in
Wow.
sales. I think prior our best day was like 50,000 in sales. So we beat it by about $30,000. Normally you have like a steady pace of like, okay, you have a break, but with this, it was just insane. Like even our young high school kids were like, I've never seen anything like this. Like
Sure.
I did a time lapse of it on our TikTok, and it was just the first 20 minutes were people after people coming in. It
That's
was-
wild.
Yeah.
And then what is your best month ever?
So our best month ever, I want to say, is about 300 to 325,000,
Wow.
which is December. December's always going.
Sure.
December, November are going to always be our two best months of the year. But our best month ever was December of this year, and we did about 300,000
Wow.
in sales.
That's really
just
cool.
in December.
That is a lot of meat.
Yeah, it is a lot of meat. Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? Talk to me a little bit about marketing. You know, how did you scale, you know, in such a short
Yeah.
period of time? 5 years, obviously, for a business owner. You know, maybe for people watching, they can learn from some of the things that you did
Yeah.
to increase the amount of customers that
Yeah.
you got on a daily or monthly basis.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy because obviously we opened January 2020 and then March 2020 COVID hit. So our goal with that was just basically to take care of our community. You know, we had people coming in who were like, grocery stores are only selling me 1 pound of meat. I have a family of 5 to feed. To us, it was like, okay, if we run out, we run out. And our goal was, and to this day it is, take care of your community and hope that they take care of you, kind of.
Sure.
Hopefully they go and tell somebody about you. Hopefully they go and spread the word, or, you know, continue to come back because you're just treating them with respect. So, you know, we do some TikTok and Instagram and some social media stuff like that. You know, we've done like the magazines and stuff like that. But what I find truly is treat your customers with respect and like they're your family
Yeah.
and friends. And, you know, so my goal really with marketing is obviously like we want to get our word out there, but the way we do it is hopefully by word of mouth. We really hope that people just go out and spread the word about us.
So talk to us about how you got involved in, you know, the meat industry and really the butcher industry.
So it's kind of a small world. My uncle owns Hobie Meats, which is off of 16th and Bethany Home. It's been around since the 60s. He bought it from the brothers originally. So me and my husband, now that we're living in LA, I was a wedding event planner. He was working in sales. He hated living in LA, and he's like, get me out of here. Like, what can we do that's not this? This is just not the life for us. Like, literally, I think within like 2 weeks, we packed up all of our stuff.
Wow.
Moved out here from LA, and we went and worked for my uncle for 8 months just to make sure that it was like a good fit and what we really wanted to do. So we went, and like within, I would say, the first month or so, I was like, okay, yeah, this is totally for us. Like, this is what we want to do. And we started looking for locations.
We were talking a little bit off camera,
Yeah.
and I was asking you like what you do with your waste, or if
Yeah.
you know the meat goes bad, or
Yeah.
you know how you kind of handle that. And you were telling me that you make it into dog food.
Yeah, so basically nothing sits in our counter for more than 24 hours. That is our goal. Our goal is when people come in here, we want them to have as fresh as possible. So what we have found is that, you know, red meat is good for 5 days. So we do a couple different things. We do put things into what's called a rusty nail pack. So it's 10 pounds of meat, and it's our choice of what goes in there basically, but it's 10 pounds prime meat for $110.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a great, and it's all frozen, so it's not fresh anymore. That's why it's so discounted, but it's a great way for people who maybe have never tried, you know, our shop before. It's a great way to get a variety of stuff to try at a discounted rate.
So we're at our second location now.
Yes, we're at the
and
second
why don't you give us a tour?
We have our reach and cooler kind of over here, and this is where we'll put anything that people are going to want to look for themselves, from briskets, picanha, maybe A5 Wagyu, anything that they're going to want to find like a very particular piece, right? Each
Sure.
piece is very special, so they're going to want to look for it themselves. So we've now allowed them to be able to kind of look through and make sure they're getting the piece they want. Then we kind of go over here and we get into our wild game freezer. So
Yep.
we have a booklet literally this thick of wild game that we're able to bring in. We kind of bring in the popular cuts. People know that we have it, and then from there, people say like, hey, can you get this, or this, like, and we'll bring it in for them. We've brought in turtle, alligator,
Wow.
kangaroo, anything you can kind of think of. But we always carry the basics like rabbit, venison, bison. People love it, and it's just like a fun experimental thing to do. And especially like the venison and stuff is pretty
Sure.
lean, so it's good for that. Then we come over
cool.
here and we just have some more, like, this is kind of our random freezer, right? Like we have whole ducks, we have burgers, we have pork shanks, beef liver, just kind of anything you can kind of think of,
Sure.
we'll like throw in this area. Then we move over here and we're actually sold out of a lot of our broths
Yeah.
over the weekend. So We have all of our homemade broths from Broth Bar, which is a really cool company. And then we get into our veal and lamb in here. So this is all frozen. We get it in all fresh and then we freeze it right away. So customers always have the option, anything in our freezers, we get in fresh. So they're always able to buy it fresh. They just have to let us know ahead of time. And then whatever we don't sell fresh goes straight into the freezer so that we can preserve it as long as possible.
Okay.
And then over here, we kind of go into our fish section. So all of our fish is flash frozen right on the boat. So they catch it, flash freeze it right on the boat.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow.
Any leftover turkeys from Thanksgiving we put down here in the freezer. We get diesel from Sonoma, California. We absolutely love them. The best turkey I've ever had in my life. Then we go over here to all of our sauces and seasonings. We really try to keep everything over here local to Arizona. So almost every single thing you're gonna see here is gonna be local to Arizona. We have local honey from Gilbert, beef tallow from Arizona. These are all of our own kind of mixtures. Again, local to Arizona. And then you come over here and our dry ager that actually just got cleared out right now. So we absolutely love that. It takes 30 to 60 days. It kind of depends. But what's really cool about our dry ager is we let people customize it. So we've had people who are like, hey, I want to dry age in like my own whiskey that I make. Can you do it? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. So what they'll do is they'll bring in their whiskey. Every couple days we'll pour their whiskey over it. So it's dry aging into that. All of the steaks on our counter are going to be a wet aged beef, and then what we do is we kind of take orders and stuff and see what people want, and then we'll throw it in the dry ager for them. We come here and we go to our prime beef section, and then we do all our sausages are local to Arizona. A local company in Peoria does them for us. Then we go to we carry all premium pork, so it's going to be a higher quality pork. My husband, who doesn't even like pork chops, is obsessed with our pork chops.
Love that,
They just don't dry out as much because that's the problem with pork. It will really dry out. So we make sure to carry like a premium pork. We carry the local Noble Bread, so it's a local bakery here in Arizona, and gosh, they have over like 200 to 300 different types of bread, and we'll bring any type in that they want. But we typically have like the artisanal loaves and stuff like that. So why you'll kind of see that our chicken breasts are smaller. Everyone is always like, well, we want bigger chicken breasts. Well, they're not. They're not. There's no filler in them. There's no antibiotics, so they are going to be a little smaller, but they're also juicier and not. They don't dry out as much and stuff like that. Then we carry all Vienna beef hot dogs, which is huge for our Chicago customer basis. We carry anything to make a Vienna hot dogs, from the buns to the sauces to the mustard to the actual hot dog. And we can get any Vienna product in that they want. Then we do like the poppers, and we carry a fresh Scottish salmon, and I can't even keep this in stock. It's insane. We get it in fresh almost every day because of how popular it is. But it's one of our only fishes that we carry fresh.
Wild caught, I would imagine.
So this is where we carry all the dog food and bones and stuff for people to make broth, and maybe just some like other random stuff. Like we have pig feet, turkey necks, I think veal bones, veal ossobuco in there, things like that. Anytime we had scraps or cut things off, people kept coming in and asking like, hey, can we buy your scraps for our dog? So then I got into looking into the raw pet food diet. I have all my dogs on it. It's amazing. It's so healthy. So what we started doing was, instead of just, scraps that would maybe get ground into ground beef or things like that, or just sold to a customer, we started grinding our own dog food. So we looked up the ratios and stuff like that, what's good, and we started grinding everything into dog food so that we have zero waste at the store. We have like turkey pet food, so literally you're grinding a whole turkey. It has bones, organs, all the meat on it. Everything that's on a turkey is going to be in it. Same thing with the chicken. You're grinding the whole chicken into it. Duck, same thing. And then you have lamb and beef, which are going to be boneless. So anything that's like scraps of lamb and scraps of beef are going to go into that dog food. Same thing with chicken. You're cutting things off a chicken as it comes in. So all that gets thrown to the side. We ratio it out so it has the right fat ratios in it, and then we basically grind it into the dog food.
What is your most popular one that you sell, like between turkey, chicken, lamb?
Chicken and beef are going to be our most two popular. They're the cheapest, and they're for your average everyday dog. Then when you get to dogs who have allergies, you can still do beef because most of them have a chicken allergy, but we have dogs who have all sorts of allergies, so we can only feed them duck or maybe lamb or even bison. So sometimes we'll bring that in for people. We really just try to specify it to what their needs are, basically. A pound of your chicken is going to be $3.49 a pound. So, and my dog, who's 110 pounds, eats 2 pounds a day. So, but most people have smaller, right? That's not the average dog.
That's a big dog,
But then you get a little pricier. When you get into the lamb, you're going to be at $5.99 a pound.
Got it.
And then we go to our provisions refrigerator. So in here we're gonna have like A5 Wagyu. Again, our customers are able to kind of dig through and see which ones that they want.
Sure.
We have our regular Wagyu, our dry age, and then veal. Customers are not a lot of grocery stores carry veal anymore, almost none actually. Then we have our own Bloody Mary mix that we've created, which is really good. We do our homemade jerky, the raw milk, and then all of this is from local farms in Arizona, so they do all their own pickled stuff. We make a homemade garlic butter, which is really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I could put it on everything and anything. And then we do like homemade baked potatoes and stuff like that. But we do all of our wrapping and prep stuff right here. And then we have our own cryovac machine up here that we're able to cryovac things. So let's say someone comes in and they're like, hey, like I'm going on a camping trip or something, like I want stuff that's good, like my chicken's not gonna last 4 days in freezer paper, can you cryovac it for us? So that will give it about anywhere from 15 to 30 days. We typically say with chicken, stay on the 15 side, beef, you could stay on the 30 side. But yeah, so we're able to preserve things for longer for them, and it's all optional. So if they want us to do it, we're happy to do it. If not, we could package however they want.
Sure, which is
basically
amazing customer experience.
Yeah, and then back here we just have some like storage going on to our left, and then here's Taylor making her
the famous
meatballs.
Wow.
So and this is where we do all of our cutting and stuff like that. So prep, cut, anything like that is going to be done back here. Like I said, right now they're making our poppers, which
smell incredible.
Yeah.
It's making me really hungry.
Yeah. So so all of our prep happens back here, and what's nice is we have the windows, so we're able to talk to the customers, hold meat up so that they're able to kind of see like what they're getting. And like I said, we cut fresh daily, so it's this place is constantly busy back here. And then back here we have our freezer. So this is where we'll keep like rusty nail packs, anything that we need to put out. Like I said, most of our stuff comes in fresh. So we give customers always the first option to get their stuff fresh before we throw it in this freezer. We'll put all of our burgers back here. A lot of this is our dog food. Like all this section is our whole entire dog food section. Our flash frozen fish is gonna be in here. And then like I said, any turkeys or anything left over from Thanksgiving, that's gonna stay in here.
I feel like everybody went from like the vegan diet to the carnivore diet, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
How did that trend in social media and all these huge influencers talking about eating, grass-fed beef all the time impact what it is that you guys do?
So I think especially with the carnivore diet, what was huge is people weren't looking just to solely eat meat. They were looking how it was fed, what it's like, how it's taking care of, all of that in general. So yes, there is an increase also in people like just wanting the carnivore diet and what they're wanting. Like they're wanting the organs from it and stuff, which most grocery stores aren't going to have and butcher shops will. But we saw a huge increase of people coming in and buying bulk meat because they knew it was good quality. They knew what it was being fed. They knew how it was treated. Raw milk is really big right now, the tallow and stuff like that. So when we see things like that trending, like we get an influx of people coming here because most of the time grocery stores aren't carrying it. And when you come into a shop like this, they can tell us and we'll go out and look for it for them. But grocery stores can be like, yeah, like whatever. Like we have thousands and thousands of things in our store. We don't need to add something else, basically.
How important are like reviews, like Google reviews, Yelp reviews, stuff like that? Like, would you say they're pretty important for a business owner?
For a small business, absolutely. Like a bad Yelp review could ruin a small business, obviously, or a Google review. I do find that people trust Google reviews more over Yelp reviews. Yelp sometimes allows people to get away with more stuff. That's like people who've never even came in the store and just reviewing and stuff like that. But absolutely, reviews are so important to, it boosts you up to the top. So if someone's looking for a butcher shop or a meat market, the more reviews you have, the more positive reviews you have, the more likely somebody's gonna click your thing. So reviews are huge. I mean, we ask customers all the time to go and review us. And we always say, like, if you had a bad experience, come to me first. And like, let me fix it before you leave a bad review.
Thank you very much for staying to the end of the video. All Rusty Nails information will be down in the description below. Make sure that you check out all of our other amazing content on my YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.